So before I get started with this video, I did post this video on my BTBRV rants with some subtle changes to it, and the reason for it is because one of the questions, specifically the one on the Tesla Cybertruck, was a very, very popular question, and a lot of people have been wanting my opinion on the truck, so I figured I'd put it on both of the channels. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of BTBRV Rants. Let's dive straight into the questions. So the first question is from a viewer who is looking to buy a 3/4 ton truck and a fifth wheel that is going to weigh about 11,000 pounds. He wants to know if a gas 6-liter Sierra 2500 HD truck would work well for towing an 11,000 pound fifth wheel. Unfortunately, I don't have enough information to answer that question. I don't specifically know what year of truck you're looking at. I don't know what gear ratio, and I don't know what condition it's in. Also, I don't know what the weight of your fifth wheel is in terms from a dry weight perspective and a gross vehicle weight rating perspective. So if you're going to ask that question, I really need more information about the overall setup. Sometimes it's best to provide the model of the fifth wheel and the year that you're specifically looking at, but I'm always going to need the make, model, and year of the truck, so I specifically know what configuration you have as well, and I'm also going to need to know what your payload sticker says on the door. So that's just kind of a future note for people who ask questions related to what truck is capable of towing what trailer and what my opinion is on that matter. So I apologize, but I really can't answer that question. The second question comes from a viewer who wants my opinion on the Tesla Cybertruck. Now, I have been asked probably 3 or 4 dozen times in the last couple of days alone on what my feedback is on the Tesla Cybertruck. And I'm going to try to provide as best of an answer as I can for this question because it's a tricky question. First of all, if you are considering the Tesla Cybertruck, and this is a vehicle that you are seriously considering getting, you need to consider it from the perspective of what you're going to use it for, how it's going to work for you, and what configuration you want the truck in that's going to best suit your specific need. In the case of people who watch my channel, it's generally going to be towing an RV. So what we don't know about it is, even though it has a relatively high conventional tow rating, we don't know how that was tested. We don't know how much testing was done, and if that conventional tow rating is going to have any type of a payload restriction, or how it's actually going to tow from a sway perspective, given how wide and how long the wheelbase is of the truck, plus the weight of the truck. So all of that is going to matter when it comes to determining what truck-trailer combination is going to be appropriate for each other. Now, when it comes to the overall look of the truck, I'm not really a big fan of it, and that's mainly because it's such a retro look. In my opinion, I kind of like the traditional truck body style. I think it's more conducive to accessories as well as things you might add to it and things you might put in the bed. When you get to these very particular, specific, kind of architectural angled designed vehicles, you run into a scenario where the conventional accessories you might want to put in the truck may not fit unless they're specifically designed for that truck, like a toolbox or things that you might set in the bed. Now, in my opinion, I believe that the Tesla Cybertruck is going to be a great fit for someone who might have normally looked at perhaps like a Honda Ridgeline or perhaps a smaller compact truck in a higher trim package, and they're more concerned about fuel economy, or perhaps just having kind of the newest, latest, and greatest type of vehicle on the market. I think you're going to see a lot of people who order the Cybertruck being people who may not have ever had a truck before, or they felt that they needed a truck that was different than other trucks on the road, and this is a good entryway into that space. Perhaps other Tesla owners or folks who might currently drive a diesel half-ton truck, something basically that's different than what you normally see. Now, from a max towing perspective, you're not going to see the Cybertruck towing a fifth wheel, I don't believe, anytime soon, simply because of the design of the truck and what its intended purpose is. I think you will see a lot of people consider getting it to tow travel trailers, But again, I don't think that's going to be the primary driver of getting this truck. I think most people that get this truck are going to get it as something that's different than what else is out there, that gets great, I guess, fuel economy, which it's not fuel economy, of course, it's battery power. But overall, the people shopping for this truck are not going to be what I consider to be your traditional truck buyer, even though I've already got feedback from multiple viewers that they are considering getting the Cybertruck and getting rid of their half-ton truck or their three-quarter-ton truck. When it comes to conversion buyers, people who are converting from one brand to another, I think it's probably going to affect the half-ton market more than anything. I know there will be a few people with heavier duty trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, one-ton trucks that might migrate over, but for the most part, I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact on your heavier duty trucks. If you recall, when Toyota released the Tundra, they really targeted the heavy half-ton market and three-quarter-ton truck market. They lent it out to a couple ranches, and they made videos on how tough this truck is and how it was designed to compete against three-quarter-ton trucks. They made all these comparison videos that showed the specs of their components being larger or heavier duty than any of the half-ton trucks. But at the end of the day, they still never matched the sales of existing half-ton trucks. And this is before anybody knew the fuel economy numbers or how reliable the truck would end up being. But that's the problem in this market. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who buy the Cybertruck. I just don't know if it's going to sell enough to really disrupt the truck market, because I think for the most part, people who buy trucks are traditional truck buyers. So I hope that answers the question. And the reason why I'm making this answer kind of long-winded is because a lot of people have been asking what my opinion is on the Tesla Cybertruck. So the next question is actually a pretty common question that I get, even though I've made multiple videos on this specific topic. So the viewer is saying that they are interested in purchasing either a 2020 F350 Crew Cab four-wheel drive dually in either the XL or the XLT package, or a 2020 F450 same configuration. And both of them being diesel trucks, they want to know the major differences between the two trucks. Now, I probably have no less than 10 to 15 videos specifically talking about this topic, but as a quick rundown, the F450 is going to have the 19.5-inch Alcoa wheels. It's going to have a commercial grade or commercial size tire that's going to be a much stiffer sidewall tire. It's essentially something you might see on like a UPS truck. It's also going to have a 430 rear gear ratio. It's going to have the same rear suspension, even though the front suspension is going to be slightly modified. It will have a wide track front axle on it. But aside from that and some minor frame differences up front, there's not a lot of differences. From the perspective of payload capacity, it's going to be derated to 14,000 pounds versus the 350, which also has the 14,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. Reason why is the F450 weighs more from a curb weight perspective, and Ford wants to keep it a Class 3 truck, so they rated the truck at 14,000 pounds as well, which means the sticker on the door is going to show a generally about 1,000 pounds less worth of payload capacity in a 450 than a 350. But aside from that, the two trucks are pretty much the same. The wide track front axle on the F450 is really what gives it the advantage and why most people prefer it over the F350, mainly because it gives you a significantly narrow turning radius, so you have the ability to turn much sharper and to do a turning circle much tighter than the F350, and it looks more aggressive, so people generally like the looks as well. Aside from that, again, not a lot of differences. Both are great trucks. In my opinion, I generally lean towards the F350 if you're looking for ride comfort, because it is a smoother riding truck because of the tires. If you're looking for maneuverability, then the F450 is going to take the lead. You're going to find many, many more F350s probably in the configuration you're looking for with the features you're looking for versus the F450, since most dealerships only stock one or two F450s while they may have 20 or 30 F350s. So I hope that helps answer your question. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.